Well, up next, we want to talk about Amnesty International's World Human Rights Report that it launched, I think, last Thursday. My guest is Samuel Agboche's campaign and fundraising coordinator with Amnesty Ghana. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Good morning.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Sure. So this is something that you do every year.
Yes.
Can you tell us why you still outline some of the things that we know exist in our country every year?
Yeah, human rights is not to be placed on autopilot. That is to say that once you have gained a particular right, or you have fulfilled a particular right, you go to sleep. If you go to sleep, the powers that be, you will never know, will take it away from you, and you'll be back to square one. So there's a consistent attempt to keep ourselves informed of what we are supposed to do as far as human rights is concerned.
We would go through some of the things that you've talked about, and I know there are some controversial ones like the gay and lesbian rights, because some people argue that, well, we're not hitting on anybody's rights. I mean, everybody is living in Ghana, and so. But let's talk about what you've said concerning Galamsey in this particular report that you've issued. We'll talk about Togo as well. I know that you talk about the sub-region, but I want our conversation to remain in Ghana and Togo.
Okay.
So let's talk about Galamsey.
Well, Galamsey, early part of last year, we saw a lot of efforts being made to clear the system of illegal mining, and those efforts were largely embraced by Ghanaian, and we are seeing the kind of results that are coming up, an improvement in the water quality and so on and so forth. But there were also few incidents of human rights violation that we have noticed during the course of the implementation of that policy. And that is what we have highlighted in our report, so that the powers that would take steps to minimize the issue of human rights violation that we have experienced.
Well, if we're trying to bring sanity in an area that's been invaded by illegal activity, should we be concerned about human rights issues? We want to bring order.
Yes, we should. In whatever we do as a state or as individual, as companies, we should always be mindful of the human rights implication of the steps. If we are trying to control Galamsey and so on, there are several ways that we can do it without necessarily infringing on people's rights. We have experienced some shootings, some killings, and so on. So that is not. I mean, you don't have to kill to control Galamsey. If you kill the people, so what are you doing? What are you controlling? And so we think that those killing incidents of killing and all that were the minuses that we have experienced in the fight against Galamsey.
So what are you calling for? What specific action do you want to see with regards to this matter?
In this report, we stated that during that time, we were told by Ministry of Interior that we're going to set up a committee to investigate the killings that has occurred. And in the report, we are calling for the release of those reports. We want to know the outcome of those reports. We want to know what has gone wrong. And then that will inform us going forward, and that we can control these things in the future.
If you look at today's report in the Daily Graphic newspaper, we're told that there's some level of progress that's been made with President Akufo-Addo's intervention with the Togo situation.
Yes.
But you are also concerned about the use of force in this report that you launched in Togo. And I wonder, beyond telling us what we already know exists, what is Amnesty International doing?
What we do as Amnesty International is to highlight and document evidence of gross human rights violation and draw states' attention to those violations, and also draw the world's attention to those violations. Nobody wants to be named and shamed. Nobody wants to be named and shamed.
So essentially, the things that you are highlighting is just name and shame.
Yes, we are naming
Tell
and
the entire world that this is what is happening.
Of course, you heard
in Togo or in Ghana.
Yeah, of course, you heard the Transparency International ranking countries. It's the same as about the human rights issues in countries. There are countries that are doing very well in terms of human rights. Others are grossly below the average point. And highlighting issues of human rights in the way we do draw the attention of both the citizenry and the country to issues of human rights abuses. And we also engage in education.
What is happening in Togo that, because of where we are, we probably are not privy to? When you went on the ground, what did you find?
Yes, we have an office in Togo, and they have consistently highlighted and briefed us on issues happening in Togo, where demonstrators were beaten, tear gas were thrown indiscriminately, about 11 people were killed, including children, and soldiers themselves died in the protests. We've experienced situations where the government completely shut down social media to prevent the demonstrators from organizing. But in the sub-region, especially Ghana, we have a constitution that we respect, and we think that the sub-region should also do same, to respect freedom of demonstration, people expressing their anger in a way. It could be done in a way that nobody has to lose his life. And we think that the government of Togo is not doing very well in terms of allowing the people to express their view or opinion on the way the country is being governed. I think that the citizenry have the legitimate right to go on the street and demonstrate. And we see that a lot in Ghana here. Yes, and that is why we are calling on the Togolese government to allow democracy to prevail.
I wonder if you think anything would change with what you've said about Togo, concerning Togo, because this has been going on for a while.
Yeah, it will. We will not stop speaking. We will not stop documenting evidence of gross human rights violation. Every forum, both local and international forum that we've got, will highlight the human rights abuses that is ongoing in that particular country. And we'll keep talking until the right thing is done. And we've seen, pressure. I mean, all the things we are saying, all the things we are writing, amount to the pressure on the government to do the right thing. And we are seeing the outcome of that pressure. They now have a table to talk. Hitherto, it wasn't like that. So they are now talking. The government is talking with the opposition. The opposition is talking to government. That is what we want to see. And we have seen our own president playing a very key role in that regard. And we are hopeful that with his intervention, there will be peace in Togo.
Let's come back home. And I'm going to use your hashtag so that we can run through some of the things that you've highlighted. You've talked about the death penalty. My colleague said Kwame Boateng also did the death row, highlighting, and this was there in Nsawam prison, how some people are on death row, not knowing when they're going to be killed. It's almost like waiting to die. But this is something that we haven't triggered in a very long while. Why do you still find that there's a need for us to either abolish it, take it out of our books completely? We haven't used it.
Yes, we haven't used it since 1993. None of our presidents had that courage to sign for people to be killed. But that doesn't mean that in future, somebody with extraordinary courage and a love of, if I say blood, that would be too harsh. Somebody who wants to implement that death penalty law to the fullest, and it will be within the constitution to do that. And it is becoming obsolete. I mean, most countries are moving away from the death penalty because we think that, first of all, it violates the right to life.
What should we do to somebody who takes somebody else's life?
Punishment should be tailored towards reform and not an eye for an eye. punishment should be tailored toward reform. We all commit small crimes and crimes one way or the other, but our punishment to be tailored towards reformation.
Murder is huge. Taking
yes,
somebody
of course,
else's life.
of course. Then killing the person also wouldn't change anything. If you kill the person, the grief, the anger, the loss to the family and whoever, you kill the person, it doesn't change anything. And
if you
research, you see, I've shown that people who have lost their loved ones through murder or those kind of things, the killing of the perpetrator has not brought any change or any emotional satisfaction to them. It hasn't. It hasn't.
If you look at the kind of prisons that we have here in our country, is it one that reforms?
Yeah, that is what we should be looking for. Our prisons, as in the current state, is not focused on reformation. The theory or the mentality behind our prisons is for punishment. Let's punish them. Let's take them away from society because they are dangerous to society. Let's eliminate them completely because they are bad people. We do not give them the opportunity to reform, that there is life after crime. There is still life after crime. We have seen and observed people who have been to prisons and they've come out of prisons and they are pastors, they are in several ministries, and they are changing lives. We can use those people as an ambassadors to reduce crime. They are resource persons. Those who have been to prison on whatever charges, they are rich resource person in the control of crime. Because he has lived it. He has been through it. And so if we focus more on reformation, reforming the people, our target is that by the number of years that the person is supposed to serve, you come out as a better person than you have gone there. Unfortunately for us, it's the other way around.
So this has always been in your reports?
Always
What
been.
has changed? What's the are we making progress with your call?
Well, in terms of the abolishment of the death penalty, we've gone very far, especially with the Constitutional Review Committee that was set up by the former President Mills. The committee has gone around the whole country and has come up with a comprehensive report on the death penalty. An overwhelming majority of Ghanaians are saying that let's abolish the death penalty because it has outlived its purpose, it has outlived its usefulness, it hasn't changed anything, and therefore keeping it in our books. You know, the research has shown that fear of death, fear of dying or death has not stopped people from committing crime. They fear. In fact, most of the criminals will tell you they are already dead. They are living dead because when they go to commit crime, they know that they might die in the process. So fear of death does not or has not stopped them from committing the crime. So therefore, our punishment, as far as crime is concerned, should be tailored towards reforming those people.
Is that everybody that you can reform? There are people who want to do what you're doing.
Every human being has both the bad and the good side. It depends on which aspect of it is enhanced or the opportunities that are available to project the positive side. If the environment in which you found yourself is prone towards enhancing the negative or the bad part of you, that will be projected. So every human being has the both bad and good. And we should focus more on enhancing the good, the little good that we have in them. Because they are human beings. I mean, human beings are human beings and will continue to be human beings. And they are entitled to be treated with dignity, with respect. And that is what we are calling for.
Are you pushing through Parliament itself beyond what you cite with the Constitutional Review Committee.
Yes, this year we're going to do a lot more work on the abolishment of the death penalty. We have a committee of experts on the abolishment of the death penalty. We're going to do a whole lot of work this year. We have a coalition of civil society in favor of the abolishment of the death penalty. We're going to revamp. You're going to see a lot of activism.
Have you watched Seth Kwame Boateng's documentary?
I did. And it's an evidence of us to abolish the death penalty. Because psychologically, you have been tortured. That is a complete death penalty. Being on a death row is a psychological torture. Because every day you wake up and there's a knock on your prisons or whatever, it might be the one who is bringing the rope or the needle. Or
are there not people who just also want to die?
Do we have to allow them to die? Why do they want to die?
Because they've committed crime. I mean, they've killed someone.
So we have to kill them.
What if I don't want to spend my entire life in prison? Be in prison for life?
Yes. You know, life is sacred. Life, you know, we don't have a second life. That is the problem. And evidence have shown that there are people who are on death row, who later investigation and evidence available have shown that they have not committed those offenses of which they were convicted. So we are saying that let them be on death row, let them be on life imprisonment. Evidence might come tomorrow to show that the person is not guilty. If you kill the person before fresh evidence shows that he has not committed or she has not committed the crime, what will you do? You have rather committed a crime.
When you're talking about access to justice, you raise the issue of the Ghana legal aid, and we know how the conditions there are really. And I wonder, because this will not be the first time that you're talking about the legal aid,
yes,
the scheme. What has changed? Again, what has changed? I mean, my point is, so you keep outlining these things that we already know. And even though you say, okay, you're naming and shaming, sometimes our leaders don't feel ashamed because you see the same situation existing the following year.
Well, it doesn't mean that what we've been saying in the past, there hadn't been any change. We've seen the Justice for All system being put in place is part of the pressure and the engagement with the Ghana Legal Council or the Attorney General Department or the justice system. It's all an outcome of the engagement that we've been having with them to take justice to the prisons. It means that there are people in the prisons that are not having access to justice for one or two reasons. Either they don't have the resources or the system has completely forgotten about them. And so the Justice for All system is supposed to revisit those cases and also decongest the prisons. It's a step. It's one step too little anyway. We want more to be done. 23 lawyers at the Ghana Legal Aid to 27 million Ghanaian. If you do the mathematics, the ratio is completely unacceptable. And we are saying that we need more lawyers. We need more lawyers. We want justice to be accessible, affordable, and available to the poor. What we have now shows that the justice is slipping away from the hands of the poor, and that it doesn't look good for us. It means that when you are poor, you cannot have justice. Somebody powerful, either politically or financially, can just come home one day and take your wife from you. Can come home and demolish your house with bulldozers. And the best you can do is to cry and shout, or you collapse and probably die. That ends it. No justice. Because you cannot compete with that person in terms of raising the necessary resources to fight that case in court. There are so many people who are who are hurt internally. Internally, they are hurt because they cannot access the justice system. I have a colleague who is still going to court 2 years after a very big man in court, like the way we say in Ghana, has gone for bulldozer to clear his property that he was developing. Every day that the lawyer goes to court, the lawyer takes his transportation fee to court. And sometimes you go to court, the other party is not there. The case is adjourned. Go and come, go and come and come. And you realize that you don't have. Sometimes he comes to me and said, Master, what will I do? What else can you do?
You're Amnesty International.
Yes.
Or you're Amnesty Ghana.
Amnesty
You'll
Ghana.
be able to do something.
Yes, what can we do? We don't have money to support people legally. So we are saying that our justice system should be able to accommodate people like this. How do we do it?
But we know we have a problem at the legal aid. Lawyers don't even want to work there because
the condition of service
is terrible.
Yes. So I suggested on another platform that I asked the question whether lawyers do national service. Do they do national service? If they don't, is it possible for us to introduce the national service system into the law fraternity to say that after you are done with your course, you do 1 year national service, be on government payroll or government allowance, and you take pro bono cases? Can we do that? So that every year we have lawyers in the system who will support the legal aid system. So a lot more people will have access to justice. The way we are going in terms of our justice system, and you also know this access to justice is a national security issue. Because if I know that you have violated my right, you have taken what I am entitled to as my right from me, and I cannot prosecute the case in court. I cannot go to court for justice. What do? I may be tempted to take the law into my own hand. I may seek revenge in different ways. I may say that the system is not just to me, so I'll go through the back law and have my own way of justice. And that is not good for us.
I want us to end with this lesbian, gay, bisexual rights. Do we have a problem in Ghana? Do we have a problem with, in terms of human rights with these groups?
Yes,
do
we do.
How is that?
We do because people are taking the law into their own hands and they are administrating their own form of justice.
Isn't that something that you hear that happens?
Oh, you've heard in the media.
It's rare. It's not something that happens often.
Do we have to wait until it takes the whole of the country before we start speaking about it? No. The way we are speaking about the armed robbers, murderers, and others also having entitlement to their basic human right is the same way that these people whom we consider as people with different sexual orientation are also entitled to their right as well. Right to job, right to shelter, right to clothes, right to health, and all that. They are all entitled.
As far as I know, if you're looking for a job in Ghana, you're not asked if you're gay or if you're straight or whatever.
You are not asked, but when you are suspected of being such a person, in a subtle way, you are deprived of that job opportunity. We've had a situation in Ghana here when somebody with a rasta on his head was denied job opportunity because he has a rasta on his head.
Are you also, do you also take into consideration the cultural context, the kind of culture that we live in? I mean, we're a society identified by and with something. We can't just take in everything.
Yes, I agree. And when people violate our cultural norms and rules and regulations and laws, do we kill them? What do we do to them? We don't kill them. We don't break into their homes and then set the house on fire or take them out and beat them because they have violated the rules. No. Let's take them through the law. If you think that somebody has violated your cultural practice or your laws and whatever, the justice system is there. What we are saying is that these people, no matter how we've considered them, they are human beings.
But these people don't even come all out in public to say that this is who I am. So how then do you arrive at the fact that their rights are being abused?
Yes, because the person hasn't come out to say that I am ABCD, and based on your judgment, your perception, which we don't know whether it's correct or not, you have tagged the person as a gay or lesbian, and therefore you are attacking the person. That is even wrong, because the person hasn't come out to say that I'm a gay, and you are suspecting. On what basis are you suspecting?
So can I say that officially, we don't have gay, lesbian, bisexual communities in Ghana?
Some people have come out to declare themselves, and they are such. Even if they have come out to declare themselves, they are still entitled to whatever right that we have to give them.
But do you know these groups in Ghana? Are there identifiable groups in Ghana that are gay, bisexual,
it's not for me to say. There are a lot of groups that I know, but it's not for me to say
No, in terms of Amnesty, because you have a report that says that we're abusing the rights of these groups.
In Ghana, we haven't had that recognized group to come out to show that we are here. We haven't gotten to that yet. But we have individuals that you might come in contact with to say that I am this and this and this. Once you are a human rights activist, a human rights defender, people of such orientation will come to you, because we are talking about human rights. Human. Again, lesbians and whatever, they are human beings.
But formally in Ghana, we can't identify people as such, because they have not introduced themselves to us formally as such.
So how will you tag them? If you don't know them, why do you tag them that this person is a gay, this person is a lesbian? How will you know?
So the conclusion is the suspicion.
Yes.
That's what's leading to the abuse.
Exactly. And then on suspicion, you cannot take an action on a mere suspicion. You might be violating the laws of Ghana, because we are talking about evidence-based. Evidence-based. And even if you've caught the person in the act, where you have the evidence, you are not the judge, you are not the police person, you are not the law to yourself. So take these people to the appropriate and let the law deal with them. That is what we are asking for. So if I am having HIV, if I am an HIV patient and you suspect me to be such, would you have to sack me from work or get me out of your house because you suspected that I am HIV? Even if I declare that I am still human being, and I'm entitled to all rights available to every human being.
All right. In wrapping up, just want to cross-check. So, abolish death penalty, make prisons more humane, make justice available, access and affordable to the poor, allow girls to stay in school to fulfill their potentials, stop instant justice and uphold the rights of all, including minority groups, LGBT, PWDs, etc. Close all witches comes.
Absolutely.
These are all to name and shame. So you're putting Ghana out there because of these rights that we abuse. So essentially, you are shaming us.
Yeah, of course, it is unacceptable for us to have a place designed for women only and tag them as witches and close them there. Isn't it absurd?
Okay.
I'm
just waiting to see if next year we would have a similar conversation and the things that you outlined will be the same or not. I just want to see the difference that the naming and shaming does to the individual countries. But thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
My guest from Amnesty Ghana, Samuel Agbocha, who is campaign and fundraising coordinator. Up next, we have entertainment. To stay with us, you're still watching the AM show.
Thank you.